What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Steel City Motors and another vehicle highlight. Today we are getting into this 2019 Hyundai Tucson SEL. That is one of the higher trims that they have besides the Limited. It's a really cool, kind of really well-equipped crossover. Lots of nice features to this, lots of modern comforts, lots of better upgraded styling from Hyundai in these past few model years. So let's get into it and show you what this is all about. Starting with a few of these exterior features, you can definitely see that Hyundai has updated their styling. It's a lot more sporty. The lines are a lot nicer on this Tucson. The wheels definitely match that as well. We've got a good kind of color scheme going on. Dark blue with some accents over here with the black brushed metal. It looks a little bit more sporty, looks a little bit less boring, less kind of mom car-ish, if you will. They were really trying to get away from the kind of reputation of, boring regular car number 275. We've got a lot more sportier styling on the front with how the headlights are designed. We've got a bit more styling on the front as well. As you can see, the Tucson is a lot less of kind of just a random blob in traffic than it used to be, and kudos to Hyundai for that. They also updated their Elantras, their Sonatas, and their Santa Fe's to look a lot sportier and more upscale. You're actually going to see that in a different video with our 2020 Santa Fe that's down here on the lot. So let's get into this interior and show you some of the more upgraded stuff that they did inside. All right, boom, welcome to the interior of this vehicle. So you can see that this is a push to start. I'm holding the key fob, very familiar design from this generation onward. We've got the typical controls on the side with a little better styling on the interior. Even with the cloth seats of the SEL, you have a lot better quality cloth. It's really nice and smooth. It's quilted, lots of support for your back with the dashboard and the general styling here up front. You can definitely see that they were going for a bit more of a sportier feel with this carbon fiber type material over here. It's not actual carbon fiber, but it is kind of like a stylized polymer, so it's a little bit easier to not mess up and not scratch up probably than a regular kind of resin coated carbon fiber, but it still adds a nice styling to the vehicle. A little bit of brushed metal here as well to complement that black. Then we've got all of our controls over here to the left of the steering wheel. We've got the lights, the different lane keeping, off-road, all of that good stuff. Fairly large speakers off to the side. A little bit of reflective stuff down here when you open the door during being out on the highway or anything like that on the road at night. Very helpful. Then going into the steering wheel, the cluster, and all of this good stuff, we've got some pretty typical styling met with some of the newer styling. We've got a digital and analog kind of mixed cluster, as you see with a lot of these Hyundais. Same thing with what you've got during the multimedia and the cruise control kind of portion here. A little bit updated on how these controls work, but pretty much the same otherwise. One update that I like on this generation is the steering wheel. The ergonomics and the material is a lot nicer to hold. It's a lot easier and smoother to steer the vehicle. It's very, very smooth on that steering column. We've got the Blue Connect, I believe it's called. Let me see right here. Yes, Blue Link, excuse me. We've got the Blue Link, the typical Hyundai multimedia stuff. We've got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay equipped as well, with the radio and the multimedia kind of controls off to the side. It's not all touchscreen, which I actually do like to have some analog buttons and kind of turn knobs as well, and you can turn it on and off right here. So it's a really nice blend of touchscreen and non-touchscreen, because I know a lot of people don't like everything to be exclusively touchscreen. It gets finicky, it gets touchy, so a lot of people really like this kind of 50-50. I am personally one of them. This is a Sirius XM capable system, so if you have an XM subscription or if you'd like to get one, this is the vehicle to do that in as well. All right, looking down towards the shifter, we've got a couple of 12-volt outlets down here. We've got the USB and the aux, so a little bit of old school, a little bit of new school. If you still have aux stuff, you can definitely do that here. Dual zone climate control, very intuitive, very nice kind of heating on the seats, the different controls over here for all of that. They're also analog, they're also buttons, which I like to have button controls versus just touch screen when it comes to climate control. Nice little simple center console, got a little bit of space here, and by the cup holders, pretty typical for the type of vehicle on this glove container. Maybe a little bit bigger than usual, a little bit bigger glove box because it's got a little more width to it, which is always nice. Then we've got your usual kind of accoutrement up here, and then as you can see, we're about to jump into the back seat. This back seat is reclined. They do have variable recline for the back seat. That's one of the things that Hyundai kind of really does with a lot of their vehicles, is that variable recline. It's a really nice and comfortable thing to do, especially if your passengers are a little bit taller and they want to just kick back. All right, closer look at the back seat. We've got a little bit of a storage down here. We've got these cup holders off to the side, as well as into this armrest center console situation. So we've got a total of 4 cup holders back here. As you can see, the variable recline, one of the seats is reclined a little more forward than the other two. This is a 60/40 folding bench, and my seat is pushed all the way back, and there's still a ton of head and leg room. You can see how nice and spacious that is. That's something I really love about this vehicle. It feels a little bit nicer and more kind of roomy inside than some of the older Tucsons, and I really like that upgrade. And finally, welcome to the trunk space. This one comes with a built-in cargo shade. It's a really nice, really pretty looking cargo shade. Easy to retract and pull forward, one fluid motion. All original mats down here. And then that compartment for your spare tire is very nice and generous, so you can actually put some tools down there. Really cool. And the 60/40 folding bench is really evident right here. You can see the variable recline you've got going on, and you've also got another 12-volt outlet in the back and the hooks for a cargo net in case you want a little more organization. Lastly, before I wrap up with this demonstration, here's another good angle of that variable recline. We have a lever that controls the recline and the folding of the seat. It's super duper easy to do it one way or the other, whether you're folding or unfolding. These seats are really nicely kind of customizable to your preferences and your needs. All right, everybody, that does it for this vehicle highlight. I really wanted to get into this generation of Tucson. It's pretty much my favorite generation that I've seen out on this lot and out in the wild so far. Hyundai is definitely stepping their game up, and I know everybody is kind of 50-50 on one car maker or the other, including Hyundai, but personally I've seen them come out with a lot of nicer, more sporty, more upscale, more comfortable models. They've upped their styling. They're definitely trying to up their game, and we appreciate that. So if you want to take a look at these guys or anything else on this lot, head on over to 1011 Old Cedar Grove Road here in Moody, Alabama, right off of exit 144. Here is the highway, that's I-20. Thank you so much for dropping in. Thank you so much for all of your support, and we will see you on the next one.